Hey everybody. It was a late night last night, so I'm a little bleary and I'm late today. So, right quick, let me get this out of the way so I can just get on with whatever's on my mind. And I need to put it like this, because I'm me, you know. Since I've started making videos and things have moved in a certain direction for me with making the records and stuff, I get a lot of requests. I don't say much most of the time. Every now and then, I've been getting a lot of requests. Well, here's another one. I get a lot of requests out of the blue from complete strangers. People are insufferable. It's that jumping on somebody else's train sort of bullshit. And I don't respond to most of them because most of them are, would you put in a good word? Would you say this? Would you that? Would you check out this? And it's like, I got one last night that I'm going to go ahead and I will make a mention. And the main reason is because of Mr. Hall of Fame. Billy Crone is, I've seen some videos of his here in the vinyl community. And he messaged me that he's trying to put a record together and he's trying to raise money. I told him I'd mention it. And there it is. Because I'm not a clearinghouse for other people's shit. When I recently did that video about Audra, it's because I wanted to. And that's the only way I'm doing this is if I want to. And the other thing I want to remind folks is over a year ago, Ian Nesbitt, where is he? He's gone. Another one of those VC members that's gone. It's like, you do miss people, but at the same time, things just keep moving. But Ian wanted wanted my opinion on his music. He really wanted it. So I said, okay, send it. I told him, be ready for the truth. And I told him the truth, which I thought it sounded like they just learned how to play, and of course, just like me, when I get, feedback that doesn't feel good, it really upset him. But I told him, okay, I told him beforehand. So that's why I'm saying this, folks. Get a clue. If you're watching my channel, wake up and really watch, okay? I don't play the traditional American business game of nicey nicey. I say what I feel. I say what I think, okay? And no one's coming to me with money yet. You want to pay me, I'll advertise for money, yeah. But to just ask me, either I think you got something going on or I don't. So Billy, good luck to you, man, okay? Folks, Billy Crone, check him out, all right? My visit with my sisters was incredible. I love my family very much. We are crazy. Just like Stephanie said about the VC, everyone here is crazy. Yeah, everyone here is crazy. The craziest people are the ones who insist they're not. You people that insist you're not crazy are not to be trusted. And if I just insulted you, you need that message. I went to breakfast yesterday with my sisters for the last time, and I met with a bunch of these people that they came to Omaha to meet with, this group that started on Facebook. It was sort of fun, but the thing I couldn't help but notice is a couple things, is how when people get together, how shallow the conversation is, how you can talk forever about nothing. And I hate that. I really hate that. I was also, frankly, embarrassed by the men. The dance between men and women about sex to me looks ludicrous. It just looks crazy. I mean, I like impressing people with my music and what I'm doing, but this phony fronting of trying to appear to be more than you are that people do all the time for the other sex just makes me nauseous. And there was one guy there who had obviously been out the night before. He was still a little hungover, but really good looking man. You know what I'm saying? So that was why I thought he looked like a fool to me. It's like, you know, I can't even put into words what he was doing, but it was like, man, why don't you just sit here and just hang out with us instead of, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't. But it seems to be like peacocks, okay? Strutting and preening their feathers and stuff. And I don't know. I guess it's just individuals, but I found that I really don't want to be bothered. And because of that fact, I'm I'm pulling women off of me every time I go out in public. I'm not bragging. For some of you guys, that would be bragging. But for me, it's just like, this is crazy. It's like, why is this such a mystery? So another thing that came up in our talks, because I love both my sisters. I love Stephanie, and we get along. I get along with Adrian too the best, but Adrian is a control freak like me, so she's in charge, and I hate being told what to do. I really do. And so Stephanie and I, she came over and we could talk, and we caught some of it on video, and then we had talked for hours actually. And some feedback she gave me is that, Dereck, I noticed that you still care. You still give a damn about trying to tell people stuff. That you care whether or not people listen to bad music, or that they know the difference between certain parts of history, And she said, I'm just at the point where I don't care because it don't matter. And, she's right. And I do know that it doesn't matter. But this is what I'll say. This is part of my script. Just like everybody else gets to do what they do and be what they are. This is what Dereck is. And Dereck, as a person who grew up in the 50s and 60s with brown skin, being treated like a dog because of that, learning what I've learned about music over the years, and continually to this day encountering white people who talk to me and act to me like, well, he couldn't possibly know that. Well, this is interesting. A black man knowing this about this music. It sticks in my craw, you know what I'm saying? It has a little bit to do with my stance, which is, to this day, I'm still not just a human being in the eyes of the world, So it's part of who I am and my agenda and what makes me what I am, that it does make it. I do want to say that, for example, Katy Perry is talented, but that music sounds like it was made in a mold machine, That's why I'll say, yes, American music is the blues and gospel and all that stuff, and it's wonderful, but I'm fucking tired of it. And when it comes on, I turn it off, and I have a very strong reaction. Last week on Facebook, this bothered me, and I'm gonna say it right out loud. I won't say who, you'll know when I say this. You said I was a hater. I am not a hater. Just because I said that I don't rate REO Speedwagon or Velvet Underground. I understand the historical importance of Velvet Underground. I have one of their records that was given to me. I've never spent a cent on them because for me, there's nothing to listen to. And REO Speedwagon is it's a product, They started out good, okay? But when I say those things, I'm not a hater. I'm giving you my perspective. And, that just disappointed me, because it was from someone that I like, and it's like, come on, man, can't you see me a little more clearly? I'm a discerning listener. That's what I am. I'm not a hater, okay? I could give fucking discourses in universities, and I'm not bullshitting. I could give discourses. I could write a curriculum on my stance about music. But like Stephanie says, it doesn't matter. It's just me. It's just who I am, okay? Something else that's going on, and again, I'm glad that people are making videos. I see that everyone's making videos. I'm not watching. I'm checking in, but I'm busy, and then also I got stuff to do. But what am I going to say? I'm glad that people are making videos. I am. But one of the outcomes is I see videos and I want to go buy records, and I can't afford to go buying records right now. I did go buy some yesterday, and I'll show you. But I'm living skint. I know it's up to me. I may have to, I do have to up my game and look into more ways of generating income. I do, in order to feed my habit. I have enough money to live on for the time being, but I have to really think hard before I go out and buy some records because, that's really just money to live on. And watching videos makes me want to buy. I want more records when I see them. So folks, I know you don't make your videos for me, but I do also know that you want me to watch. So please understand, if you're not seeing comments from me, I am watching. I see that Nathan made a 38-minute video. Way to go, Nathan. Bring it on. But I haven't watched the whole thing, and I don't know that I ever will, you know. And he didn't make the 38 minutes for me, okay? So, lots on my mind, so I'm going to talk till I'm done. I did buy some records. I'll show them in a minute, but I went out last night. I went to The Faint is back. The Faint has come back. Let me, I only have one album of theirs. I almost bought some last night, and then I said, I really don't want their albums. I don't. Come on, Faint, here we go. They were dynamic. They were fantastic. The Faint, minus Joel. Joel Peterson left the band. The Faint are incredible live. The records are so-so. That's why I ended up not buying any records, because these records are just okay. I mean, they make this shit come alive on stage. And as I was listening to what I think is missing, and I'll say this because I know that sometimes members of the Faint watch my videos. I wish you guys would let me write with you, because I could help you with some melody, and I'm not. That's not ego. It's what I have. Thank you, Brett from Audra, for saying that about my music. Even when not much is going on, that melodicism is there. It's very important to me, and it's one of the things that I have to offer to the bands and the musicians I work with, is I can help with melody. I wish that the Faint would let me help them. Maybe I shouldn't say it like that. Maybe I just blew it. I wish they'd let me write with them, because that's what I did with Icky Blossoms. And I'll say this openly. They came to me, you know. They said, well, we need some help when they were working on songs. Well, I'm kind of stuck on this and this. And what I gave them was melodies. Heat Lightning, the prominent melody on that song that you hear on the guitar that makes you think of New Order, I gave that to them, you know. I did try to get credit for it. I did try to get publishing. I didn't. You know, I don't regret. I don't hold it against them. I'm being upfront, though. I did. I tried to get publishing for it because I gave them a hook, you know. You know, maybe I'm just really kind of a fool because I have these gifts and I'm not cashing in on them. But that's the problem. Once you start to cash in, it's like you sell your soul to the devil and you can't get out of it. And I don't want it, you know. The way my life is going, this is what I want. I still have my freedom. You know, I'd like to be in the game more, but you have to sell your soul. You do. One of the coolest things that I enjoy about and I thought last night I was thinking to myself, maybe I shouldn't be talking out loud about all this stuff, but that's who I am, so I'm going to keep doing it. One of the biggest rewards for being in the position I am in now in the music scene is not that I'm making money, but that people know who I am. They treat me with respect. And what's fun is going out on shows, seeing the other musical icons, people that I have a certain amount of fandom to, showing their fandom back to me. It feels very good. Like, for example, on the way to the gig last night at Slowdown, I listened to the Needle Drop on NPR, and they played a Desaparecido song, which I thought this is great. I get to the club, and I didn't see Connor, but I saw Denver. And Denver's all, ooh, you know, really happy to see me, and that just means a lot to me because it's real, you know what I'm saying? And I'm listening to his record on the radio, which I still haven't, for now, none of my music's on the radio like that. It has been at times. I still would like that. I'd like to hear some Dereck music on the radio. I'm not working towards it, but I'd like that. But those little things like that are the things that I value about my position, as opposed to, you know, just being a fame monster or just wanting the money. I need the money. I don't give a fuck about the money. I don't. So another cool thing happened, and then I'll show you my records. Solid Goldberg opened the show with Solid Goldberg, Icky Blossoms, and then The Faint. Fantastic show because all three acts were incredible. Dave Goldberg was in a band called the Box Elders. Some of you folks may know. But he's doing this thing where it's a one-man Quintron slash suicide thing. Really good. And he's a wild man and he wants to go for it. But you know what I'm saying? He was the first act, so the audience is still drinking and watching and they're not there yet. So I know Dave, you know, so I could get close, you know what I'm saying? And I get up and I start taking pictures and it's what he needs, so he starts going for it. So then he has his own setup, PA and everything. It's wild. There's pictures on Facebook. So he starts to climb on top of his stack and I can see, oh, this isn't, you know, it's not quite steady. So I go up and just go and stand next to the speaker, you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not trying to get in on his act, but I see, you know what I'm saying? I see what's going on. But I love it because Dave knows me and we go back. So I become part of the act. He goes ahead and steps on top of the speaker, gets on top of the speaker, and then he steps on my head, which was awesome, you know what I'm saying? So he's rocking and I'm doing this, you know, and it's just, I love that because that's the spirit of rock and roll that is not dead, that I still know it. I'm old enough to know, well, I'm still into it, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't listen to a lot of wild, primitive, psych swamp rock at home, but live in a gig, I can go there with you. I can get as crazy as the band. If I could jam like with Ohm or like Sleep or some of those guys that play that heavy riff and stuff, I can smoke with those motherfuckers. I can do it. Anyway, that was fun. Icky Blossoms was dope last night, but you know what? It was great because the Faint are longtime band. They're professional. They're very good. And I watched them watch Icky from the side of the stage, you know, because Icky was going for it. And Icky said it several times. This is a teenage dream coming true for us, opening for the Faint, you know. And they gave the Faint a run for their money. But the Faint had nothing to worry about because the Faint kill live. Those guys are amazing live. They know how to take it to the next level. The entire band, the entire show, the band, the lights are in action. It's fantastic. Great show last night. Great show. So, anyway, I bought a couple of records yesterday. And I finally found a record by this band, that one of the bands that I saw by Grecian Thunder when he first started making videos, really early on. He bought an album by a band called Ancestors. I had never seen it before. I just loved the cover. And I thought to myself, if I ever see a record by Ancestors, I'm buying it. And I finally saw one yesterday, their brand new album. And this one is called In Dreams and Time. I like that cover. Slightly brings to Pink Floyd a bit to mind. I've only played one side of this. I think I'm going to like it. It's kind of raggedly majestic. You know, it's metal. It's kind of doomy, but it's got this, like they're reaching for something. You know, I don't know what the words are yet because you know, I'm not paying attention, but the music is reaching for something. Kind of majestic, grand. I like that. I like this. I like this cover too. I didn't like the price. That is the biggest regret about not working, is I don't have money to just indulge. You know, I want to buy records. I can't. So I bought that. I carefully bought 2 more, and I was careful because well, about 3 more, okay. And then the other day I had some credit at the Antiquarium, so I went, so glad that I waited. I went there and they had this. Musica di Dorival Caymmi. This man, okay, people talk about Brazil, And everybody knows Gilberto and Caetano Veloso. Dori Caimi. Okay? This music brings tears to me, to my eyes and to my soul. It's so beautiful. I've got about 3 CDs by him. This is the first vinyl I have. Dorival Caimi. I mean, I really can't speak about him. I'm not Brazilian. I just know how fantastic this man's voice and his writing is. I'm just looking at him, and it's like Dorival Caimi, something special. Homer's had a markdown rack. Finally, they marked some records down that have been needing to be marked down forever because ain't nobody going to buy them. And this is one that I'd been looking at for a long time. Intrigued. Truck. This is not the Indian. There's an Asian band called Truck that's psychedelic from, I think, the 70s. Amazing. I have it on the computer. But this has been in the store for a while. And I'd look at it and I like the cover. And I'd look at the back and I'd say that this interests me. But then I look at the titles, and the titles are what kept me from buying it until yesterday because it was cheap. The first song is called Country Woman. Right away, it's like, Country Woman. You know what I'm saying? For me, you know. But then, then Pretty Lady. That was it. Okay. Country Woman, gotta find a reason, Pretty Lady. And I'm thinking, this is going to be the same shit, but the cover looks good. Anyway, it was finally marked down to $4.98, so I bought it yesterday. This is good. This is very good. It's just the end of the 60s rock. The guitar player is the feature. He can really play, so they give him lots of room to solo. But the music is much better than I thought it would be. It starts off with a bit of a country tinge, and then on the second song, it's mostly instrumental, and they're jamming. This was a find. Truck. I'd been looking at it for well over a year in the store thinking, this is probably something. And it is. It's good. Truck. This is good. The other thing that I bought that was marked down from something like $28, finally down to about $11, was the reissue of The Damned Music for Pleasure. And I used to have this album. I've completely forgotten how much I like this album. Because when I sold those records, when I sold the records in the religious state, I sold a lot of my favorites thinking that they were hurting me. That they were evil. And so I sold a lot of records that I really liked, you know, which is maddening because so many of those records are, you can't get them now except for collector's prices. So this is a reissue on Earmark. And it's a good cut. It is. It's a nice cut. And this is a great album. Problem Child. There's just a bunch of good songs on this album. Really like The Damned a lot. And there's not a great cover too. So I got that. Then the other thing that I almost didn't get, but I went ahead and bought it because I am consciously, I do want more Bowie. You know, I have most of his main albums now, but there's a lot of Bowie to collect. And I'll buy more when I can. And so I have the single, and this isn't the greatest song, but Loving the Alien by Bowie. I went ahead and bought this because it's the 12-inch. It's in really nice shape. It has the poster, not that I really care about the poster, but since it was with it, I said, okay, I'll grab this. Yeah, big poster. I won't show it now. So I grabbed those records yesterday, and so that's, wow, 24 minutes already. Where does the time go? How do I wrap this up? I'll wrap it up like this. Busy again. It's a busy time again. Yesterday, I did more film work on the, I had to redo some of my voice parts. They had some technical glitches, and so I had to redo some of my voice, but I also got to see some of the scenes. It looks really good. They got permission to shoot at the Faint show. That's going to be part of the story. For a second, while I was at the show, they toyed with the idea of me cameoing that part, but it wasn't necessary. We decided, nah, don't even need that, really. But they were shooting more at the Faint show. Sam, who's the leader of Capgun Coup, told me he's going to start recording his solo album this week in the studio. I don't know where he gets the money, but I'm in the studio, a proper $1 million studio here in Omaha on Wednesday. There's a few of them here, actually, not just ARC, not just Conor Oberst's studio isn't the only professional recording studio here. So I have a recording session on Wednesday. Should be getting the test pressing for In Dreama back this week. Should be getting it. Should be finalizing the artwork on the insert for In Dreama this week. Should make a list. I have several things going on. I'm busy, you know. So, anyway, I'm going to drink my coffee. And I'll just say in the video by saying I love you guys. And, no, I do have one more thing to say. When I was having breakfast with my sister yesterday and I was listening to the conversation, how people would circle around actually talking about anything but never do it. I thought to myself, this is why politicians and politics goes on. This is why they get away with it, because we're so distracted, and maybe we feel powerless. I'm not sure, but to me, there's just no way for me to take the political game serious, except that it is serious, that it's running this world, and that's why things are so bad and dangerous. But you know, it just kind of, I was looking at people and thinking, so maybe this is why we're asleep, because it's too hard to be awake. You wake up and you don't know what to do. Or the first thing that happens when you start to wake up is you get scared. I don't know, but it has a lot to do with why I'm not more just going out and hanging out and being with people and just hanging out. I would rather just listen to music and maybe visit with one or two people. I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, guys. I'm forgetting something. Oh, yeah, business. You know, I have about 50 copies of Dereck 2 left. It's, you know, again, I don't know what I was thinking. It's been a month and I only have 50 copies left. I know the economy is horrid worldwide. Oh, that's another thing. I was talking to Laura from Minor Birds. We were talking about touring and stuff, and she's about to go out on tour, and whether or not she's going to Europe, and right now, no. And it's the economy, you know. Minor Birds want to go to Europe. They could probably do okay in Europe, but the economy is affecting everything. And they couldn't put together a decent package to go to Europe. Makes me wonder, will I be able to go to Europe next year, you know, with Rick Agnew? I mean, it's on the table. The other thing that's on the table with Rick is going to Brazil. Seriously, you know. But forces bigger than us are at play here, namely the economy, you know. So, and with that in mind, it just makes me happy that I am ahead of most of the rest of the world, which is, I don't give a fuck about money. And I realized for the longest time that, you know, here we are stuck in this money game, and that ain't it. You know, the preciousness of what we have is daily being trampled because of this mad, desperate rush to make sure we have enough money to pay for things. It's pathetic and it's sad. And I'm glad that I'm awake to it. I don't give a fuck about money. I need it. I don't want it. I need it. But I have what I want, because you can't buy it.